Introducing the Dell UltraSharp U4021QW again. We reviewed this monitor more than a year ago and I said that this monitor is actually very good. And about 2 months ago, I started using this monitor as my daily driver and I have quite a lot of things to say as a long-term user and I have a lot of experiences to share with you as well. And before we begin, a big disclaimer, Dell did send us this monitor but they have zero prior knowledge about what I am going to say about this monitor in this video. Okay, so where do I start? I think that we should start by having a quick refresher first. So the Dell U4021QW is actually a 40-inch monitor with a 21:9 aspect ratio. Yes, it's an ultra-wide monitor and it has a massive resolution of 5120 by 2160 and it can also be referred as 5K 2K, but it's a 60Hz monitor by the way. Some loyal viewers might ask, hey, what happened to my Acer Nitro XV340CKP monitor? Well, I didn't abandon it because I know many of you guys actually bought that monitor because of my review like more than 2 years ago right now, and I even got recognized in public by some guy because yeah, I made them buy that monitor and I truly appreciate those kind of comments as well. But that monitor is still with me, it's just relocated somewhere else. I just thought that this monitor will suit my usage a lot more at this point in time because of that KVM feature, and I also rarely have time to play games nowadays and high refresh rate is just something that I don't really require. And come to think of it, I think it's more like a side grid now that I'm changing to this monitor because I am trading off some crucial features. With that said, here are some pros and cons when it comes to changing to this new Dell 4021QW. Well, it's not actually new, but yeah, it's been out for quite some time, it's just new to me. So pro number 1, I am upgrading to a 40-inch monitor. That means this larger display is clearly better for video editing and workflow as well. Combined with the ultra-wide form factor, I can see a lot more. For example, the entire video timeline is now visible and I can see more video and audio tracks at the same time as well. And number 2, combined with this high resolution display, that little corner of video preview is actually at its native 1080p resolution. Yes, we do film at 1080p and we don't have any plans to upgrade beyond 1080p as of now. And point number 3 is actually in its slight curvature of the monitor, like what we mentioned during the initial review of this monitor. I think that the slight curvature of 2500R is the Goldilocks number. It just feels so natural to use this monitor, and at first I was worried about editing photos using this kind of curved monitor because the grid will make the picture look distorted, but it actually looks a lot more natural. It's even more natural compared to the flat 34-inch actually. And point number 4 is actually that I'm getting a lot of high-speed USB ports. There are a lot of 10 gigabits per second USB Type A and Type C ports on this monitor, and I can use all of them at its maximum speed when I'm connecting this monitor to the M1 Pro MacBook Pro that supports Thunderbolt 4, and it also has a proper DisplayPort out mode version, so I can use this display at its native 5K 2K resolution at 60Hz without any compromises and using only one cable to connect between the two. So yeah, that's good. And that brings me to the 5th point, and that is KVM. It is a feature I cannot really describe what it does, but I can show you what you can actually do with it. I can control my laptop with this set of keyboard and mouse, and with just a flick of a switch, I can swap to my desktop. Same keyboard, same mouse, same monitor, but a different computer entirely. I can do all of my work on the MacBook Pro, and once I'm done or waiting for a video to finish rendering, I can just switch to my desktop, play some games, watch some Netflix at a higher resolution, do all of those stuff, and yeah, I can just easily flick the switch and switch between the two computers. That's just great. And this is the biggest reason why I got the Dell U4021QW actually, and we'll do another video talking about why this monitor is better compared to some other external KVM modules in the future. Also, this monitor is highly advanced because it has a lot of configurations available in the OSD menu, and I absolutely love the flexibility that it provides, and I actually use a lot of these features, so here's a quick rundown of all of the settings that I'm using right now. And that also means it is time for point number 6. It tidies up my table. Seriously, all of the peripherals are connected to the monitor and I just need one single cable to connect between the monitor to the laptop and then I can access everything. I can also charge this laptop since the USB Type-C port of this monitor can also provide 90 watts of power to the laptop. And now for some not so good things about this monitor, as in the cons. There are quite a few of them actually. So the first point is that I am losing 144Hz refresh rate. And like what I mentioned earlier, I really don't care much about high refresh rate. Some people might say that once you've tasted 144Hz, you cannot go back to 60Hz or whatever, 90Hz maybe, and I completely disagree because I can. However, the pixel response time of the U4021QW is rather slow, which causes ghosting effects like this if you're playing some games. The second thing that I'm losing is actually adaptive sync. Honestly, I think this is an even more crucial feature compared to high refresh rate because when it comes to high resolution displays like this, your frame rate will fluctuate even further. Hence, not having adaptive sync means that I will have to turn on VSync, which impacts the performance even more. And point number 3 is that this is actually quite a buggy monitor. Yes, you heard that right. When I first got my hands on this monitor, I updated its firmware to M2T104 version, which is the latest one as of the time of this filming. And then I plugged everything into this monitor. My keyboard, my mouse, my microphone, and some other peripherals. And then I plugged in the Thunderbolt cable to the MacBook Pro, and then it worked fine for a few hours. For whatever reason, all USB devices connected to the monitor will just suddenly shut off and none of them will work. I had to reconnect the Thunderbolt cable again to get everything working for another few hours. This issue was unpredictable as there was no warning and no pattern, and the time between how often this issue will happen, yeah, it is inconsistent too. It's just so random. I plugged and unplugged and swapped so many things and I eventually got it working right now. For the past month, it only happened once and I can live with that, but I don't know how long this will last. The other bug that I realized is that the OSD menu doesn't seem to be matching what it actually does. So you see the OSD menu, I set the USB to power off when my laptop and PC are turned off. But when I turn off the laptop or PC, the keyboard's RGB still light up. I don't know what's happening. If I turn that option off in the OSD menu, then the RGB doesn't turn on. It seems to be inverted. Yeah. Anyway, the Dell U4021QW. This monitor is definitely not for the masses and it is originally made for enterprise users, and for whatever reason, it actually matches the way that I'm using my two computers. It saves space, convenient to use, and also just that single cable to connect to the laptop. High resolution 3160p ultra-wide display with great colors, and most importantly, the KVM feature. Yeah, I use all of them. The price of this monitor is definitely not for the faint of heart, but I think if you're actually watching this video, then I think you already know what you're signing up for. If you're looking for alternatives, then yes, they are, but it's not a one-to-one alternative. For example, Gigabyte has a bunch of gaming monitors that has KVM built in, but none of them are in the 2160p ultra-wide format, doesn't have this many USB ports, and they don't have the ability to charge the laptop with just a single USB Type-C cable. And of course, we'll also have to talk about KVMs in the future, but we'll leave that in another video because that topic is just way too much to talk about. So yeah, that's it. That's our revisited review kind of thing for the Dell UltraSharp U4021QW. This monitor, gorgeous, expensive, but also for some reason it matches the way that I use the monitor. So that's it. If you have any questions regarding this monitor, do leave them down in the comment section below because I will definitely answer them since I'm using this monitor for so long right now. So yeah, we'll see you there.